Welcome to Kevin's Corner TV. My name is Kevin Horton, and I'm the editor of the Gold Coast Gazette, a weekly newspaper I started along with my mother in 1991. Over the years as editor of the Gold Coast Gazette, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting people. Through this show, I hope to introduce you to some of those people. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, we have to be really quiet. We're in court. We're here to see Judge Richard McCord.
Court is now in session. McCord City Court, Richard J. McCord presiding.
Judge McCord, may I approach the bench?
Sure. Note your appearance for the record.
Kevin Horton.
How are you? Nice to see you.
How are you? Thank you for doing this job.
My pleasure.
Judge McCord, tell me, when did you start?
I became Associate City Court Judge in 1988, and I served in that capacity under Supervising Judge until 1995, when I was first elected and became the Supervising Judge, and I've been serving in that position ever since then.
One of the things that you are known for is for mentoring kids and helping them in their lives. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm very proud to say that for the past 10 years, I have been responsible for operating and instituting the first teen court program in Nassau County. And that's where the kids from Glen Cove High School, North Shore High School, Walker's Valley High School, we work with St. Dominic's High School also, where the students come to the court twice a year and serve in the role of jurors, the judge, defense attorney, and prosecution in a real criminal case involving teenagers, their peers, and they actually learn how the legal system works in a positive manner. When teenagers come before me in real lifetime, so to speak, they're very apprehensive, they're frightened and nervous, and I don't think they really get a true appreciation of the legal system as it exists in our country. So I'm very happy to work with the kids in my teen court. I also have served in the City of Michael mentoring program where I work with kids. I invite and they attend students from those high schools again to sit and visit. There's a lot of challenges out there.
Yeah, what are some of the issues that kids are facing today that you're finding?
Well, what I'm finding is there's still a lot of alcohol abuse and substance abuse, and a combination of both. And the kids don't realize in many cases until it's not that it's too late, but they're well into the abuse and that they can't fight it alone once they're into it. But they have to be very careful in their pattern of life and how they proceed with their friends and things like that, so they can avoid getting into that kind of situation. There's a lot of pressure on them. A lot of peer pressure, and a lot of these kids who are good kids get themselves in situations they really don't know how to get out of. They're afraid to tell their parents, so I like to let them think that maybe there's another alternative, and that's me. And we have support. We have a local bar, the Nassau County Bar Association, has attorneys come here on it's called the 18B list, but they serve the court to assist defendants that can't afford to hire their own attorneys. A lot of families around here, in order to live here, both parents have to work. So I have found that the most challenging time is between when school ends and dinner time. So if a child's not involved, or a student or a youth is not involved in some kind of organized sports or theater program or performing arts, that they tend to migrate towards each other, and then they wind up getting in trouble. So that's why I really try to work with these kids as much as possible with all these programs.
Right, and that's been your philosophy right from the beginning, to mentor these kids and to be a part of their lives.
Yes.
It's a change, right?
I've tried to work with them. When I first got on, I was a little bit younger than I am now, and I was involved in athletics myself, and one of my children was involved in performing arts, so I had kind of a little taste of everything, so I could relate to some of the concerns the kids have. And But they're our future.
Yeah.
They're our future. You know, my father used to say that the kids are our future, take care of your kids and everything else will be fine. It's true.
Yeah.
Now that I'm his age, he was right.
And it's really the legacy that we're leaving behind. It's our kids, not you get very involved in everything.
Well, first of all, this is where I was born. This was where my wife was born. This is where my wife's parents were born. This is where our children were born. And this is where we decided to live and raise our family. And I feel it's important to get involved with the community and give back a little bit of what the community has given me over the years. I think I am a product of my community. There's wonderful people here in Lake Cove, diverse community. As you said, I work with Knights of Columbus, Sons of Italy, the Lions Club,
The Glencoe YMCA.
I'm very involved with that. And everyone in this community, the city of Glencoe, seems to care about each other and work together. As you said, for example, the YMCA, we have programs where the schools go over there and use the facilities, and we try to partner with the community. The Knights and the Sons are always conducting activities to raise funds to give to charities in Glencoe, of course, the island, but everyone really seems to try to work together to improve our quality of life for ourselves and again for our children in the city of Glencoe. I was involved with all Central Regional Catholic Schools. I was on the school board there, so I try to get involved with everyone. I think I learned that from my mother. She taught phys ed here in health for 43 years, and she was very involved in the community, and I like it.
Right. Excellent. So over the years, sitting on the bench here, what have you found? What is your style on the bench? Are you a tough judge? Depends on the situation.
Right. It's hard for me to judge myself, so to speak, is whether I'm tough or not. But I've been told by people that they think I'm tough, but fair.
Right.
And I'm pretty tough on the kids. That I know. I think when they come in, that if they realize that this is serious and this is real, this is not playtime. A lot of times, these kids, I'm involved with the school district. I go and speak to the students in the driver's ed, the criminal justice. There's other events that take place where I go up there, and I don't think they think it's real. If you show them a video of a car accident with someone speeding or drinking and driving, they'll say, oh, those are all actors and actresses, and that's kids. You expect that. But it's real. And it's very maybe I learned that from my own kids and their friends, because they tell me they think it's fake. And it's not. So I am a little rough on them. I really try to emphasize to them that driving a vehicle is not some constitutional right. It's a privilege that's given to you that can be taken away. And if you break the law, there's long-lasting effects. And if you walk out of here with a criminal record, that prevents you from certain career opportunities and a lot of other things. So as they progress in age and time, they've got to think. So I try to emphasize that with them. And other people, first-time offenders, I think I'm fair, and I bend over backwards to try to understand their position. Recidivism is something I don't think can be accepted. I believe my responsibility here is to the people of Glencoe to make sure that as much as I can that we live in a safe community, and that's what I try to do. So, I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. I do hear that. I think that you're very fair.
I try.
But make sure that people tell the line, especially the kids, which is very important.
And that's why it's a good combination. And coming in here, even the kids that participate in my teen court program as defendants, they're seeing the positive side of the application of the law and the legal system and the operation of it because they're part of it. And I like that also. And I've had some defendants asked to later on become involved with the program in their high school. So that made me feel good. But they get to see that, and then they're here in the real world, and it's really happening. They have to go through the process incarceration, and so it's an experience. So I hope it's a long-lasting experience, a positive experience, and gets them, if they're going in the wrong direction, to straighten themselves out, to help navigate their way through the world.
Now, have you helped the adults along the way as well?
Yeah, I think so. Again, the alcohol abuse and the substance abuse is prevalent at the older ages, and thanks to good consulting services from the Little Center, the hospital, Lafayette Unita has counseling for non-English speaking people, and we all work together to try to get people to understand the difficulties they're facing, and that there's help for them. A lot of people get desperate and think they're alone, but there is help. All those agencies are right here in Glencoe, right here in Glencoe, walking distance. And I think all those agencies and their professionals are very, very effective, very professional in the manner in which they conduct themselves, and we've had a lot of success. I send a lot of people to counseling. Anger management, alcohol abuse, substance abuse. We have a lot of domestic disputes where anger management has to come in, and counseling and child protective services gets involved when children are involved. Everyone's goal is to stop this from happening again, whatever violation of law took place, so that no one's in danger.
Now, you still have a very good positive outlook on life, and I've seen that, like, some people in law enforcement and stuff kind of don't like people anymore. But you seem to still embrace people and not see the bad side of life. Is that difficult for you at the moment?
I
see so much going on in these courts, seeing the domestic disputes.
When I first became judge back in '88, the chief of police at the time was Tim Edwards, and he said to me, "You're going to see a side of Glencoe that you didn't think existed." He said, "Most people don't see or even hear about the things that I see here on a regular basis." That's unfortunate for me, I guess, but not for them. It's good for them. That means that we're doing our job, dealing with the criminal aspect of our community and civil violations and things like that in this court without having it publicized to the point where people are alarmed. So I think that's good. But I guess I'm just a people person. Maybe I got that from sports. I was involved in team sports all my life, so I always worked with a lot of people growing up and in my adult life. And no, I don't have, when I walk out of here, I have a responsibility that I chose to accept, and I try to do it the best of my ability. But when I walk out, I don't think any less of people. As you said, I'm involved in a lot of things in my home, and we have a wonderful time. I don't think any less. And some of these organizations have people that unfortunately had to appear before me here, and I don't think any less of them. Everybody's entitled to make mistakes. As long as they take the steps to correct it and avoid it happening again, I'm fine with that.
Right, and then to seek out some of that help. That's awesome.
Right. And I've heard over the years many people tell me that they have changed their life because of the counseling. Sorry that it had to come to them getting arrested, but they've changed their life.
So yeah, and you've done a lot to change a lot of people's lives, so you should be proud of that.
I am. Give back a little contributor to my home, to my community.
That's right. Very good. Okay, thank you, Judge McCord.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure. It's now in recess.
Can someone just tell me why? Which way do I go from here? The road that I've yet to see. How will I find myself? Who am I gonna
Alright,
be?
I'm here with Sergeant Jack McDougal, and we're going to talk about the many years you've been with the Glencoe Police Department. Jack,
I feel like a rookie.
when did you start with the Glencoe Police Department?
January of 1984.
When we first met, you were saving a duck behind the Glencoe Firehouse. Do you remember that story?
I'm going to pretend I'm in court and say I don't recall any of that.
Come on. You were famous for saving that duck. Tell
No,
us
I
about
absolutely do. And as a matter of fact, that's what helped me get started in the schools. I was told about a duck that was down behind the firehouse, and it had one of those six-pack rings stuck in its mouth between its bills, and it was swimming around behind the firehouse, and people were concerned about it. So I took it upon myself, with the assistance, it turned out, with some firemen and a couple other police officers, to rescue the duck and get the plastic ring off its mouth. And from there, I was invited to parents as reading partners at the Glen Cove Elementary Schools. And I picked the book Make Way for Ducklings to read to the students. And as a part of that, I incorporated the taking care of your environment and explained to the children how to cut up the six-pack rings, how not to litter, how to keep the environment clean and safe for themselves and wildlife.
Right.
And partly it's your fault because you publicized it so much and followed me with pictures.
That was a great story, and it was a great introduction to the two of us. It was a lot of fun. And from that, people now are asked to cut up the rings and all that stuff. So
No, they call me and I go over and cut them all up for everybody. No, yes, a lot of, when I talk to students now, a lot of them know about it, and a lot of them actually bring the story up. I'll go
Right.
into the school now and some of them will say, you're the police officer that saved the duck, aren't you? It's great to be known that way with all the other things I've been involved in.
Right. Now, some of those things that you've been involved with, now you're at the schools all the time mentoring the children.
Well, what happened is, we have a program called the PRIDE program, and that stands for Peer Resistance Instruction Drug Education, and it's taught in the 5th grade. And I was invited, after I was reading at PARP and at the different elementary schools, I was asked by the department at the time if I wanted to participate in the PRIDE program. Chief Witten was a part of the PRIDE program at the time. And I did it and I enjoyed it, but I felt there was some changes that needed to be updated for the students. Young people, 5th graders, they're very, very sharp, very smart, way ahead of where I was at that age. But then again, most people would tell you everybody's way ahead of where I am at whatever age I'm at. But so I got involved with the PRIDE program. Chief Witten told me that someday, if he ever gets to become chief, some of the ideas I had for the program he'd like to institute. And he stood by his word, and when he became chief, he invited me up here and asked me if I wanted to work with the schools and institute some new programs. And I was very happy to do it, very happy. And the chief believes that education is just as important or more important than the enforcement part. He understands, and we all understand, we have to write tickets and make arrests. And it's an unfortunate part of the job, really. But education's a very important part. Part of what we changed with the PRIDE program was that there was a part of the PRIDE program about self-esteem and teaching kids to have good self-esteem and feel good about themselves. And I always felt that that needed to be changed a bit because it wasn't really the correct message for young people. So we added discipline and good values to that lesson plan. And the kids get it, they understand. What I explained to them was, I would rather you be a good person with lower self-esteem than a bad person with high self-esteem. So it wasn't all about having good self-esteem and feeling good about yourself. It was to be worked out with the idea that you need to have discipline and you need to have good values. So we talked to the kids about character building, good values, and how to discipline themselves, how to step back before they make decisions and think.
Excellent. And it's all about keeping them off of drugs, keep them from bullying. The cyberbullying is a big issue that you guys have addressed.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when they graduate, we have bands, they're PRIDE bands. And it says on the inside, I'm proud of the person who I've become, and I'm proud of the person that I will continue to be. And we give that to the students at the PRIDE graduations, and that's the message that we try to leave them with. We teach them about the dangers of tobacco, and as part of that, with the help of Mr. Smith, who's a 5th grade teacher at Landing School.
Actually, Mr. Smith was our first front page cover of the Gazette, as a matter of fact. He's a great guy.
Very good guy,
Okay.
very smart teacher, very good to get advice from as to what to teach and how to teach the 5th grade students. And what he suggested was that we teach the kids to become more media savvy. So we don't only teach them about the dangers of tobacco, but we teach them about the tricks and what commercials and what people try to do to get them to start using tobacco. How they design the packages, the words, the cartoon characters, how they try to get young people interested in starting to smoke, which is brand new to the Pride program. We added that. We teach them about the dangers of alcohol. We teach them about peer pressure. And bullying now, we've added 2 classes to the Pride program about bullying, cyberbullying, and sexting. And we teach the kids 2 aspects of bullying. One, that it's wrong to bully somebody, obviously. Nobody should put their hands on you. Nobody should call you names and make fun of you. One of the things I tell the kids when I go into classes, I ask them, I say, do you know what I did last night? They don't. It's really none of their business, and I tell them that. But I said, can anybody in this class tell me what I did last night, every minute of last night, where I was and what I did? They said, no. I said, do you know what everybody in your class did last night? And again, they'll say no. I said, so if somebody last night, for example, my dog, I was very close. I loved my dog dearly. I spent a lot of time with my dog. I loved having that dog around. I said, if my dog passed away and I came into class the next day to teach you, how do you think I'd feel? And to a person, the little kids will tell you, upset. They'd be upset too. I said, so if I came into school and sat down and I had lost my dog or something had happened in my family that upset me, do you think it would be right for someone else in the school to start making fun of me or teasing me about something else to make me feel worse? And it gets quiet in the classroom, and the kids are getting it. They understand it when you put it to them that way. I said, who comes to school in the morning and says, you know, my goal today is going to be to bother somebody or hurt their feelings? It's wrong. You shouldn't do it. And we also teach by the same token that to a point you need to be strong and expect that people are going to have their moments where they're either jealous or just mean for that day and they want to pick on you or bother you, and you need to have confidence in yourself and know that what they're saying about you isn't true and that you're a good, decent person. So there's 2 aspects. One, we don't want kids to go bully people, and the other is we want other kids to realize that even though they might be being bullied, they need to be strong enough and confident enough that there's nothing wrong with them. And they can always, I tell the kids, and so do the other Pride instructors, that they can go to them and talk to them. And that's one of the best things about having police officers in the school. There's more contact and it's closer and more personal when you have police officers in the school talking to the young people.
Right, well, that's been your thing all along. I remember being on the street with you talking, and there'll be a teenager walking by and you'll be, hey, John, come over here. I want to talk to you. And so you've always been that way since you were a rookie cop, I think, on the beat.
Yeah,
Being
and
good
I
with the
enjoy it.
kids and enjoying the kids and stuff, and keeping an eye on all of them at all times. So.
And they're all basically good kids. Everybody makes mistakes. And they just need to have it reinforced. What's right, what's good, how to behave. We all need that. Even as we get older, some of us need that, I've been told.
What are some of the things that kids face now that are so much different from when we were growing up? You know, the internet, the texting.
Big time. The cyberbullying, it's so much easier now to criticize someone, or you can hide on the computer.
Right.
It's one thing when you go face to face. The bully might have to be bigger or stronger or a group. But now anybody can bully on the internet. Any coward can, because you can hide and say things about people. And unfortunately, when you're sitting behind a computer, it's easier to try and hurt someone else's feelings because you're not confronting them face to face. You'll say things that you might not have said if you're face to face with the person. And one of the newest things that we're dealing with is sexting, sending photos partially clothed or
And this is starting at like what age?
well, it's starting from around the country in the middle school and even a little lower now, 6th grade. And we're trying to get the message to kids that picture's out there. It's always out there. Once you do it, you can't call it back. You can't get rid of it.
And you can't delete it. It's out there forever. Yeah.
And by the same token, we're responding to that with new PowerPoint presentations. For example, through the Youth Bureau, the Glen Cove Youth Bureau, Ms. Charmaine Clark works at the high school, and she works very closely with the students too, and she invited me to speak there at what's called a brown bag lunch. So you can go down and you will present a topic, and the students at the high school can get lunch and come down and sit in the room and see the presentation. And with her help, we were able to put together some PowerPoint presentations. And they were successful. The one on heroin was very good, and the one on sexting, it was the largest group that they had there. There were teachers that came down and sat there. There were students sitting in the aisles between the chairs and tables to see the presentation.
Wow.
And it's because the word got out that it's good for them, it's to warn them, it's to help them make better decisions so that they're not in the sometimes tragic situations that some students across the country put themselves in by sexting, sending pictures of them partially clothed. You know, boyfriend, girlfriend at that age, they're most likely not going to stay together forever, even though sometimes they think they are, and occasionally it does happen. But when you send pictures like that, and people aren't mature enough, they have an argument, they'll send those pictures out to other people to hurt a person's feelings. And once you do it, it's too late to make amends for that. And the other person that gave the boyfriend or girlfriend a picture of themselves is totally humiliated and embarrassed, and it's a hard way to live, and people can be very cruel about that.
And what's a message to parents that parents should be aware of, and maybe how they can watch over this?
Parents, up till a certain age, in my opinion, it's probably through junior high even, the computer should be where the parents can see it. There's a lot in a spot where maybe we're in the living room or playroom or kitchen even, where the student, if he's using it or she's using it to do their homework, the parent can keep an eye on it. And also, the parent should show interest in what's happening on the computer. If the student is saying that they're speaking with friends, or and sometimes their behavior will change while they're on the computer. They'll get upset because of messages they see. The parents need to pay attention, see those changes, and question their student, just like they would talk to them about the use of drugs or alcohol or anything like that. They just need to show interest. And unfortunately, some of the events we've been in, we've gone, and the parent seems less responsible than the student sometimes when we end up going to the house to try and figure out what the problem is. People need to understand not just laws, but how to act. Young people need to be good people, grow up to be good people, and we try and help with that in the schools. The students are very respectful. Sometimes I think it's funny because I can turn and look at them, and they're quiet, they're paying attention, they ask good questions, and I've been very lucky as far as that goes, my relationship with the students in Glen Cove, as far as there's no heckling, there's no laughing, there's no talking. They pay attention, they're respectful. I'm very impressed with the way, when I'm able to give presentations, with the way they behave.
Excellent, excellent. Jack, we've known each other for a really long time.
I will admit to that.
I've always admired you, and I especially admire now the stuff that you're doing with the youth, and I know Glen Cove really appreciates it. Thank you for being on the show.
As long as you promise you're not editing that last part out.
No, that stuff is keep it, definitely.
Kevin, thank you for everything, and you've helped make it possible. When I first started my career here, your coverage helped lead to this.
Cool, cool. That's
Thank
good
you.
to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. All right, thank you for watching Kevin's Corner TV. I want to thank Jack McDougal for being on the show. It was really great. Everybody enjoy it. Thank you.
And Kevin, there's no hard feelings about that duck story you told about me.
Jack. Jack, I'm sorry about the duck story. Really, come on back. What are you doing?
Good
No,
show.
Jack. Thank you for watching Kevin's Corner TV.